Welcome back to another episode of Scribble Kibble, this time all about frames per second. Yes, that's right, FPS, your old nemesis, the thing that makes your videos look choppy or superly smooth. If you've never worked with videos before, all FPS, frames per second, means is how many images per second the video is playing. And as far as animation goes, these are the typical frame rates you will see. 12 frames per second, 24, 30, 60, which is pretty much independent 3D animation, 90, which is when you get into virtual reality, 120, which is video cameras like GoPro and some gaming stuff is at 120, and 240, which is about the limit of perceptible smoothness. Yes, that's right, 240 images per second. That's way too many. But when you're on the lower end of this spectrum, there's a big noticeable difference in smoothness between 12 frames per second and 30 frames per second. The jump from 30 to 60 is less noticeable, but it's still there, and if you ever get the chance to see the difference between 120 versus 240, you are barely going to notice a difference. Well, the difference is that watching a character moving with that many images per second will give you a headache if it doesn't have motion blur added to it. And just to be clear, your eyes do not see in frames per second. They don't work like a camera. So I can't tell you what FPS your eyes see at because your eyes just don't work like that. A single eye actually perceives motion in different speeds at the same time. Your brain adds motion blur to things moving too fast, and your brain can fill in gaps for you if it recognizes a pattern. Or it can mess with you and make you see an optical illusion, like the fact a tire rim spinning a certain way looks like it isn't moving at all, or even that it's moving backwards. Plus, there are tons of other factors that can change how many individual images each person can perceive, like how old you are, how hard you've trained your brain to recognize minute movements, and how much light is coming into your eye. Those are just some examples. So your eyes do not see in frames per second. And the number of frames per second you can see on a computer depends on your monitor. Many monitors cannot play more than 60 frames per second, so maybe you think your video game is playing at 120 frames per second, but your monitor could limit you to 60. You need to get a monitor with a 120 refresh rate for it to be even able to play that many frames. Back to the little chart here. The standard for animation today, even those 3D animated Disney movies, is only 24 frames per second. Yep, that's it. In fact, lower budget animations don't even draw 24 pictures every second. They only draw 12. That's called drawing on twos. Drawing on ones mean you're drawing every single picture for your chosen frames per second. Drawing on twos means you only draw half of the pictures and make each picture last for 2 frames. Heck, you can even draw on 4s and only make 6 drawings per second. Go you incredible time saver. Personally, I draw on 2s as much as I can to save time, so I only have to make half as many drawings. But there are some motions that I need to animate at 24 frames per second because they happen so fast, or because they're very drastic pose changes. I want the motion to be fluid, so I need to draw a lot of pictures. For a very short time a couple of years ago, I was animating at 30 frames per second, but the difference between 30 and 24 was not noticeable. Why should I draw a few hundred more pictures if I don't need to? So I went back to 24. It's a pretty good place to be. I would never make hand-drawn animation in 60 frames per second. The precision you would need to draw your in-between frames would have such a minuscule margin of error that it would be a stupid waste of time. However, 3D animation can easily be processed in 60 frames per second. It might look bizarrely smooth to you at first, but eventually your brain gets used to seeing it and the 60 frames per second doesn't look so strange anymore. But again, you'll only see that kind of frame rate online right now. When you go to see an animated movie in theaters, it's only 24 frames per second. Due to the way broadcasting on television evolved, technically, most cartoons are 23.976 or 29.97 frames per second. Those weird numbers are still the standard today. The reason the frame rate is strange is because once color TV was invented, the old monochrome black and white TVs that people already had couldn't play both the color channel and the sound channel at the same frames per second. So the solution was to lower the frequency of the color channel. That's the end of today's lesson, and I just remembered what cartoon I want to feature next week. I'm gonna get to work on that.